Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are live and back at it again, folks. We are the Wrestling for Life Network. This is Thursday night, and we are going to get into some TNA Impact tonight. Going to be a fun one. We got lots to talk about, lots to get into. The wrestling world's crazy again, and we're feeling all big business. So, lots to get into here. Strap in, strap on, grab your snacks, grab your feel good. Don't go anywhere, folks. Let's go. Ding, ding, ding. We're live and back at it again, folks. Like I said, we are the Wrestling for Life Network. This is another live stream. And tonight we get a little bit of TNA Impact. And actually pretty stacked card tonight. Lots going on with Impact. So we're going to see how this show goes. But yeah, lots to get into in the wrestling world. We are here for the next couple hours. I hope everyone out there is happy, healthy, and safe. As I see that chat starting to pick up, get in that chat, say hello. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Be a part of the family. You want to be a friend, share the link. Let people know we're here, and don't forget, just massage that algorithm. Help us out a little bit. But for the next couple hours tonight, at least two of the three faces you are going to hang out with is me, Mr. Every Night, KJ White, the Iron Man of YouTube, and Mr. Big Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Wrestling for Life Network proudly brings to you its YouTube tag stream champions of the world, the Every Night Delight, KJ White. I'm Big Nick, and yes, tonight we've got the Fallout from Sacrifice, plus we've got an X Division Championship match, plus we've got Spare Change AJ Francis taking on Joe Hendry. And I think we also have a new CEO to talk about as well.
There's a new CEO in town, or maybe a returning CEO, so to speak. But yes, we had big business last night. Very interesting night indeed. I saw mixed reviews. I saw some people who thought it went off without a hitch. It was very solid, very content with what they presented with Sasha. Some debate about her music. I mean, again, it was a good moment. It's good for the company if they can turn it into something. What did you feel? I was here for 2 hours last night.
Do you want to know what I feel or what I've seen? What is interesting online is that there's even now AEW diehards that are starting to turn on of like, oh, she had a WWE feel and she's not going to fit into the fold. I think the promo was not great. The placement was terrible, putting her at the start of the show.
Okay.
You gave away the worst kept secret in wrestling right out of the gate.
Yeah.
But the promo to me, it sounded very like the CM Punk promo of I'm home. And
yeah.
This is the only place where the revolution can be global. And I just was like, wait, the other company just came off a pay-per-view from Australia, is going to France and Berlin already planned.
Right.
What are you talking about here?
They haven't gone to Japan, Nick. That's what they mean by global. Don't you got to get to Japan?
Well, and then why didn't she, if she's still going to be working with Japan, because I've seen that brought up, why didn't she just use the Japan stuff? I think they did, spoiler alert, they did the CEO, so we'll get CEO DMD chants going back and forth.
Yeah,
that's their hope, their vision.
How did you feel about the entrance song being very, like, Spirit Squadish?
Why did they use a new one? Everybody already knew that one. Like, you saw people genuinely confused as to, again, who is this coming out? And then they put two and two together. Like, why did you need to change that?
The delay, the delay on the video for sure. But yeah, I mean, again, I wasn't happy with the placement. I saw Sasha was like, oh, I had to go first. I saw other people like even Bully Ray was very much of like, oh yeah, they gave it to him right away. He had to go up first. I thought that show was a slow decline from start to finish. The last half an hour in particular was tough to watch. And I know people out there, oh, AEW's back. But yeah, but really, I think when you don't have the creative ability to go above and beyond, you get very average, which last night felt average.
It started off great, and I guess Big Dog here letting us know with a $10 super chat of red alert. If you're in the Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, or Texas area, take cover now. At least 10 tornado warnings in effect. Stay tuned to your local news channel for further updates and Fighting Frizzies at 11.
So T's and P's to everyone out there. Right. And yeah, stand back. There's a hurricane coming through.
Well, that's Florida, but yeah.
Yeah.
The Texas tornado, Kerry Von Erich running.
There we go. There we go.
But the placement of that whole show was just so out of order of why would you started hot and ended ice cold. So why
Ice
would you
cold.
not build to that? Like, that's the thing is a lot of people that was sold on Mercedes comes back.
Yep.
So you give it out the gate and then everybody left. We've seen them do it before when Punk showed up. That's why I thought it was interesting. She did it was basically a CM Punk promo of I'm here, I'm home, this is where I needed to be. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. And I mean, I didn't hate the promo. I never thought Sasha was the greatest of promos.
Mm.
But I thought she did okay. I understood what she said. I was a little surprised of like, I'm home. Like, I thought that was weird. Like, you ain't been here before. Like, what do you mean you home? But
Well, and so just on a side note, because it ties into the thread throughout the show of we ended with Willow and Riho, which Riho, I get people like her, but when and at
okay.
5'5", and this woman looks like a toddler next to her, there's
Yeah.
a problem. There's a
Right.
you can't suspend your disbelief that much. But
I don't get the Rio thing. I don't. And I'm like, I mean, she's does some moves. She's good. She damn near looks like she's gonna die at times, trying to pull off some of these moves.
right.
I don't know. I just don't think that's the best positioning for this big superstar coming in.
Well, that's the thing is no one outside of somebody who watches New Japan and especially New Japan Strong, which I think there might even be people who watch New Japan that don't exactly even watch Strong because that's the US
Right.
version. Don't
Right.
know about any sort of continuity or story between Mercedes and Willow. So now this just seems completely out the blue. Like, why would you not have her go after Tony Storm? Why would you not have her even just if she goes after Deanna of just it's not your shot, it's my shot. Go after Thunder Rosa. There's a litany of other
Thunder
people.
Rosa would have been nice. Yeah, no, I was just agreeing. Like Thunder Rosa, I said the same thing last night. Yeah, I mean, if I get it, but again, they're playing to the very specific audience. And I mean, I know a lot of talk about how people were very happy with the ratings early, but the overall average ends up being a very low score for them last night, even with the big boost that she was.
The numbers have not been great, and she did not do anything to change that. I was going to say, which numbers do we want to talk about? Because they don't lie. Because I have the ratings compared to the last couple of weeks, and I even have the quarter hours pulled up here.
I'm curious. I definitely am.
So the overall viewership for last night, for those who don't know, and by the way, shout out to everybody in the chat. We'll get to you.
We will get there. We will get there, folks.
So last night did 801,000 viewers, which is up from last week at 779, but still down from every week before that of 822, 828, 811, 818. So not this huge needle mover that we all thought it was. It might have been for a lot of people who are on Twitter and everything, but as far as your casual viewing audience, they didn't care.
Didn't care. And I mean, there's a portion of your reoccurring audience that didn't show up for it.
Well, has the reoccurring audience, the niche audience, just now become more and more, like I said earlier, if you had AW fans that were now against Mercedes and said it had too much of a WWE feel and everything. So now you're getting infighting, and now you're getting your niche market smaller and smaller.
Well, I mean, I think this is the risk that Tony's always kind of run, and he's come into this problem before. And I think it's partly why he books the way he does. I think he's very timid to take an ex-WWE star and push him to the moon with very little exception. I think Moxley might have been a little more of an exception. But you've seen it before. All the WWE guys come in and they kind of putter around and do some nonsensical who cares stuff before they get involved in anything serious.
Now, are you saying just ex-WWE guys because that's all that's been coming in lately? Because I think it's anybody that he brings in. But I guess
I think fair enough, because we've seen it with some of the old Ring of Honor talent as well. I think where I was going with that is the fact that, okay, you bring them in. If you don't put them in the right spot, if they don't move the needle, again, what are you going to do? And do you run the risk of changing the mission statement of AEW's original days? We are going to be the alternative. We're going to be edgy. We're going to be different than that other show. But now you got so many of the other show on your show. It's starting to look like the other show done poorly.
But is it also, though, I very much see that, but it is also, could it be that now you have these huge audience or these big time players bringing in, because they can have hell of a matches with. We've got Okada versus Eddie, I think next week or something coming up here, and then we've also got Ospreay versus Danielson down the road. We're waiting to see where Mercedes goes.
Ooh, it's going to be good.
But has it just, though we've seen with Ospreay and Okada showing up that they haven't done a huge number either.
Yeah.
So is it just more of one of those that they're really great to the people who know wrestling, to the niche audience, again, the niche audience closing in on itself, but you don't do anything to expand beyond that. Mercedes was your one shot outside of your AW bubble.
Because she's supposedly bringing in a good fan base. I think next Wednesday will be very telling as far as what the number does. She's advertised to be there already. 7 days out, they're letting us know she will be on next week's show in Toronto, Canada. Oh.
Hey.
But I mean, at the end of the day, it will be very telling to see if she can progress. And real quickly, we will get to the chat in 2 seconds. The one thing I did want to add, man, listen, we've said this 100 times on this channel. We're probably going to say it 100 more. When you go read online stuff, read past the headlines, folks. Some of it's clickbaity as shit. But I will remind everybody, because I felt compelled to, Dave Meltzer is just giving his bullshit opinion. He doesn't know what he's talking about. And all of these, like we said, all these sites, stop reporting them like news. He just talks out of his ass. It's not factual. It's not from sources. Just remember that. I mean, at the end of the day,
I will go on the record to say that A, we are more credible than Dave Meltzer, and B, we are more respectful and respectable.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna source him, you might as well source us too. Fuck it.
Might as well. And I mean, at the end of the day, he blows my mind. Like, so his big thing that kind of got under my skin today was, oh, Triple H had no idea, or had no idea what he was missing out on with Will Ospreay, and he was probably watching Big Business, thinking, man, we really missed out. First and foremost, I doubt he was watching Big Business. He might have peeked in to see Sasha, but I don't know if he's hung around for too much of it. But again, folks, I'm just making that up. I don't know. The man could have had it on 8 screens. We have no idea. But this idea that Triple H wasn't aware of an Ospreay or didn't know, again, this goes back to Tony Khan will pay more money. That's not, Triple H didn't offer less money because Ospreay's supposed to be an absolute gem, which he is.
They didn't realize that he could talk as well as he did and all of this and everything. No, it's not that at all. And it's the same thing with Mercedes, the same thing with Okada, of money talks and bullshit walks.
That's it.
At the end of the day, they get an easier schedule and more money. It's the same thing that WCW did. They're just failing to execute. But no, since Uncle Dave likes to go back and always quote, old videos and act like they're current videos and source that. So why don't you, Dave, go back to the video? I think it's from Inside the Rope. Shout out Kenny McIntosh and everybody over there. It's where you had, this was before 2018, everything, like, well, multiple years back. So where Paul Heyman's there offering Will Ospreay a WWE contract live on stage and everything. So they've known about Ospreay for the longest time. And you don't think when they have a guy like Ricochet on their roster, hey, you had your fucking career basically, was hand in hand with his. So what do you know about this guy? They of course know about him.
Right? Wasn't it Trips that went on an absolute indie shopping spree to the point where the people that loved indie wrestling were very upset? Was that my imagination? The guy is very aware, but
this is probably not the first or last WWE contract that Ospreay's been offered.
No, and I mean, at the end of the day, it's not about not knowing. Like, even the idea that, well, the WWE lost Sasha, they could have had her. Yeah, but they weren't going to pay her $5 million a year, which I bet, I got a feeling it's between 4 and 6, don't you?
I guess that they could actually do $1 million last night, and I was way off with that. So I don't know. I don't want to guess, but I've seen a number floated around, and I wish I could remember it right now, but what number I've seen floated around is much higher than pretty much anybody else out there.
Yeah. And remember, she wanted that Charlotte money. She didn't want that, just another girl money. She wanted that Charlotte money.
Right. But I do have the start of the show, kick it off. I will remind everybody that we do watch it on YouTube under their membership, which is a whole whopping $1, but we do also have our own membership and everything. But yes. So that's where we watch it. So we watch it commercial free on YouTube. No spoilers.
No spoilers, folks. But we will quickly, clearly Nick and I didn't talk yesterday about wrestling. So we blew
So
up the
this
whole,
what happens when we have one day apart.
right? We kind of blew up the pre-show, but good to see you, Joe. Hyped for TNA. I'm absolutely hyped to go. This, like I said in the intro, the card is actually stacked. So we apologize to TNA. We talked a lot about AEW.
Well, no, we got the AEW talk out of the way because
there
we're
we
going to
go.
have no commercials, no interruptions. So we've got straight on full TNA.
There we go.
Pause.
Damien, good to see you. Eric, I see you too. Kevin, welcome back. Bashade, how you doing? Eric, what's going on? Christopher's with us, saying 801. I was expecting close to 900, but I guess I had my hopes too big. And again, I think that when people get defensive about what's going on with AEW, I really think they need to understand that, like, we as just looking at the numbers are hoping the numbers go up. We expect them to go up. And when they're going down, it's concerning.
No, what's concerning to me is when the numbers go down and people act like they're going up. That's what to me is concerning.
That's it, right?
That's really what this seems to be happening now.
Yep. Well, yeah, that's the trickiest part, right?
Right.
Tornado warnings. Thank you, Mana, by the way, again. Jordan Smith, good to see TJ, Christopher, Daniel, Gregory's here, Jordan's here, Swanson.
Yes,
Boston,
Daniel with a nice disclaimer there for everybody. Use them responsibly, folks.
There you go. And speaking of saying hello to some people, have we just, oh no, we're still getting a replay. Let's play this little game. Anthony.
There's a story of a handsome Anthony who was just more than a hat.
The chap that runs the show in the house. Welcome, sir.
How you guys doing?
Not too bad. How are you?
I am feeling great.
Good. TNA is kicking off now, by the way, so welcome right in time.
Yeah, I see. That is kicking off. It's a stacked card tonight from what I can see.
It's actually stacked.
Yeah. I'm definitely looking forward to the Chris Sabin and Mustafa Ali rematch. I think that's going to be great.
Yeah, I was actually surprised.
It looks like we might be kicking off.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're going full Tony Khan here. We're just going to give the best thing away here.
Right.
I mean, the worst kept secret in history.
Right.
But again, that's interesting to see next week when it's announced versus there was probably some people that aren't on Twitter, that are on social media that had no idea, that just are deaf, dumb, and blind and couldn't figure out what's on.
No, absolutely.
Interesting. How'd you feel about it all?
I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed every bit of the time they gave Mercedes Moné. I actually love the theme song. I've seen people comment on my TikTok videos and they hated it, but I actually liked it. I liked the CEO chants. I thought it was good, but I think it's going to be what happens after that's going to really tell the story.
Now I have a follow-up question. Did you watch what happened after, or were you like probably most of the audience that just, all right, I saw what I came for and just, I'm out of here?
So that's a good question. I actually went back.
The answer is yes.
I actually went back and rewatched it because I'm not gonna lie, at 9 o'clock I tuned out to go watch something else. But I knew the main event was the women, so I assumed Sasha Mercedes was going to get involved. So I at least recorded that part before I went to go watch something else. And I came back after and I actually liked it. I like the Willow and Riho match. I'm not really a big fan of Riho. I don't get the hype, but I thought the match was solid. I really did.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad match at all. I mean, it just didn't feel like a main event, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it felt like a main event, but I think because it was in Boston, it was Mercedes Moné debut. They had to put it as the main event.
Mm-hmm.
No, they didn't. I live in New England. No, they fucking didn't. No,
why was Joe and Wardlow not the main? Like
they should have. Well, no. Why wasn't she the main event?
I thought she should be the final. Yeah, like the last two matches. I mean, even the Jericho match. Like nobody cares about Jericho and Hook. Nobody.
No, I think they were trying to replicate the whole CM Punk Last Dance where he was the first segment on Rampage. So I think they were trying to do the same thing with Mercedes Moné. According to the numbers I've seen for at least her first segment, Dynamite did hit 1 million.
Yes.
Which is great, but then after that it didn't last.
Yes, Mercedes was in the highest segment and the lowest segment of the
What was the lowest segment final number?
the main event. Well, I'll get to that. Well, I want to get through some quick stuff here
Yes,
because Anthony or Keyshawn saying Anthony, KJ, and Nick is here, which means there's a 33 and a 3% chance that one of them will take their hats off, take off their hats. But we do have Sabin versus Mustafa Ali for the X Division Championship going on right now. So, folks, let us know who you're taking in the chat. If we missed your comments earlier, we do have the super chats, the super stickers. Guys, who are you taking?
I'm definitely taking Mustafa Ali.
Yeah, I don't think you can go. Yeah, I can't. I don't think you can go against him. That's a tough
Prince
one.
Ali, fabulous he. Yeah, I gotta go Ali. But so I will follow up with 627,000 was the Willow Nightingale video, Riho Mercedes Monet backstage angle, ad break, Jericho Hook backstage angle, and the match between Riho and Nightingale through picture-in-picture ads. By the way, for those who don't know, I'm going off of WrestleNomics. So if their numbers are wrong, don't come at me, come at them.
Oh, Sabin's giving Ali the gas pedal.
Oh man,
is that not close to a low blow?
I think it is technically a low blow.
Side note, since we were here for NXT, did anyone else see Gigi Dolan going hard in the paint about the double women's low blow and everything? I'm like, whoa, hey, yo.
Dude, I was speechless. Not very often. I was like, that's a double lady low blow. That never happens.
And she even put it out there for those who don't know, it does hurt.
I'm sure it doesn't feel great.
Mm-hmm. Saber right now, though, in control.
Yeah, he caught like Mustafa Ali off the top rope and turned it into a submission. I don't know how he did that.
Now, is the hair pull not a heel tactic, and isn't Sabin supposed to be the babyface here?
It's definitely a heel tactic, and Sabin is the babyface. So I think he's just doing everything he can to win his title back.
There you go.
I mean, but they flying everywhere, flying all across the ring.
So if this is in the main event, what do you guys, just on what we know is announced, what do you think is the main event?
I think it's going to be the 6-man, no?
I was just about to say that with Steve Macklin and Nick Nemeth, which I don't know if anybody has saw that match. It was spectacular at what is it, Sacrifice? That was a spectacular match.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, after all the glitches and it going in and out, but
right.
Yeah. When you're on vitamins and the show starts fucking up, you start to really question whether it's you or it's them.
Yeah, right. Am I glitching? Are they glitching? Are we glitching?
It's like the Joe Gacy entrance when it goes upside down. It's, am I upside down? Are they upside down? What is up?
Wrestling 4.
I forgot we had AJ Francis versus Joe Hendry tonight.
It's a stacked card. It really is.
Well, and I could see that. I guess that you guys make a strong case of this is probably the most predictable match on the card, arguably enough, even though it's going to be a banger of a match. So I could see why I would start. I thought maybe because it's a title defense, maybe it main events, but
this is definitely the most predictable match because AJ Francis and Joe Hendry, that could really go either way because the way they built that story, it seems like sometimes Joe has the upper hand, then AJ has the upper hand, so it could really go either way.
Valid. Jason, what up? Anthony, KJ, and Nick, is it true that Justin Roberts is leaving AW and possibly coming to TNA? I have not heard such rumors.
He wasn't there last night, but I haven't heard any further rumor to that.
I didn't even know he was leaving AEW. They don't need to replace Josh Alexander's wife. She does a great job.
Yeah, no, she's good.
And she does it for less. What? I'm just assuming when your hubby works there, I'm sure you're probably doing it for a little piece of change.
AJ is a huge jobber. He's trying to be more than a jobber, but it might be tough.
Yeah. Spare change.
I don't know if putting him in a feud with Joe Hendry is a way to get him out of jobber level because Joe Hendry can rap better than him. At this point, he can wrestle better than him. he
Right.
can talk on the mic better than him. I don't think that was the right choice.
Yeah, I think this is just continuing to show off how good Joe is, not doing anything for AJ.
Exactly.
It's a wee bit to me. It's a tinge of. Do you remember when it was Kurt Hennig and I can't remember who else was with him with the Rap is Crap when they were taking on Men on a Mission and
Yeah.
everything? It's a little bit like that. And we've got Joe Henry who's out here singing songs. We've got AJ Francis who thinks he's a rapper. He thinks
Right.
he's Swerve Strickland.
Yeah.
He's not.
Mhm.
Definitely not.
Yeah, when AJ came out with his like, oh, I got a diss track for you, me and Anthony both were like, uh-oh, Joe's gonna kill him for this one. And right away, Joe was like, oh, one of these, man, and just completely outdid him. And that's
First off,
unfortunate for Top Dollar.
it's a quick keep claim.
And you literally said AJ in the middle of AJ Francis rap. You were like, AJ Francis can't rap and Joe Hendry can do it better. And then it was 5 minutes later, Joe Hendry did it better.
Be rabbit.
Right? It's a rough go. And a Scottish guy at that murdered him. No, both men. No, Chris Sabin getting up.
Vegeta saying he's banned from diving. Well,
Banned from diving.
Yeah.
Using the old AJ Styles theme was amazing.
Perfection. It was perfection.
Ali up in the top corner here, going for a superplex. It looks like.
Right. KJ series question: when was a ladies low blow disqual? I've never seen it. I'm not saying it shouldn't be. It was just holy Christ.
That's probably like I've never seen that before. So just fuck it. You're both out of here. I don't know what to call. You're both out of here.
Was this on NXT?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was Ariana Grace initially hit a low blow on Gigi, and then Gigi went full heel and just straight mule kicked ducks between the legs there on Ariana, and she went from a vibrato to a soprano real quick.
Yeah. But he called a DQ, and I was like, wait, what? Like, that never, like, I do not recall. And if any fact checkers out there want to dig one up,
no, don't do that. We'll get a bunch of links that'll give us viruses. Don't do that.
Yeah, no shit. But yeah, I've never seen a DQ one. It blew my mind. As all he eats a super kick.
Have a shirt made up that says, I believe in Santa Claus, the Easter Bunny, the Tooth Fairy, and Joe Henry.
I would buy that in a heartbeat.
Nice.
Well, merch guy, get on it.
I can't put Joe Henry's name on a t-shirt and sell it.
You can put O Henry.
I could maybe.
Oh,
Henry. Spell O-E.
Right. Oi.
Oi.
Ozzy. Oi. Hello.
A great
What
match.
the fuck? Ali went
Great
for the
match.
moonsault, and Sabin and him were just in two different planes of existence there.
I don't know what that was.
Moonsault to the arm of.
Yeah, it ends up being a reversal because Ali got the worst of it.
I think he just did a moonsault and no one was home. You should have just fucking done it that way instead of trying to pretend to catch the foul ball.
Yeah, a little bit outside.
Low blows are illegal. Yeah. Well, so are close-fisted strikes. And how many times do we see them fucking called?
Right. Something no one ever says. Sex doesn't matter. I want to bet.
People don't forget.
We want Nemeth. How y'all feel about the system faction? Anthony.
I like the system. I did not expect them to be ABC at Sacrifice to win the titles. That kind of shocked me. I thought they would have saved that for Rebellion, but they hold the majority of the gold, or basically all the gold they can with the members in the group.
Right.
But I like the system. I really do.
Yeah, coming out strong after Hard to Kill for sure.
It works for TNA, especially as it's their dominant faction. So, of course, they've got to, at some point, hold all the gold. I was with you there, Anthony, if I didn't think they would get the win. but I think now we're setting up for probably at Rebellion to where they start to fracture.
Okay.
Ollie grabs the belt and Saban clips him with a clothesline.
Oh!
Now Saban got the belt.
Foot on the ropes and still a kick out. Oh, did he get the win or was it a kick out?
Oh, he got the win. He got the win.
Well, because Ali or
with the feet
Saban
on the
was
ropes,
contemplating clattering him with the belt there, and he kind of just looked at it and got lost in its gaze there. And then Ali with the most devastating move in pro wrestling, the surprise roll up, and then put his feet on the top rope, not the bottom rope, not the middle rope, the top rope. All the leverage.
Man, Chris Saban looks like John Cena when he lost to The Rock at WrestleMania 20.
Interesting question from Keyshawn here. Why didn't the Motor City Machine Guns ever get a shot, at WWE?
I believe they had tryouts. I believe maybe separately. I'm not sure if they did it together, but I'm pretty sure that at least Saban I'm really confident with, but I'm pretty sure they both had tryouts at times. Could it be very much just a size thing?
I think they just never wanted to go.
I don't know about that.
It could be more of a size thing. If you think about it, at that time when they're like the most popular, WWE was still on these big guys.
Yeah.
At least Vince McMahon, I can say. It could have been a size thing.
Yeah, I do believe they tried out. So I mean, imagine at times they would, they would have the desire to go there, right? But then they've done very well in their own path, right? So I mean,
apparently we're forgetting the fact at some point in some mythos in some alternate universe, Alex Shelley was in NXT at one point or another.
Vaguely, yeah. I believe they. I don't know.
I cannot confirm nor deny, but I can confirm that right now we have Nick Nemeth and Speedball Mountain, which sounds like Ric Flair and Tony Khan hanging out after a 8 a.m. show.
Shelley worked a total of 3 matches alongside Kushida as the Time Splitter tag team in 2020.
Oh, Thunderdome.
Right. But I mean, they lost the first round Dusty to the Grizzled Young Vets.
Okay.
So
yeah, I definitely wasn't watching NXT then. So yeah,
no,
I did.
they just had a TNA match in NXT in 2020.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right.
Should be a fun match in the main event with these 6.
It's always interesting to me, though, with like at times when you look at the TNA roster, because they'll put people together that like, I don't know why you're friends, but you're friends, and I somehow believe it.
No, you're absolutely right. Like with Joe Hendry and Yuya Yamura last year,
which was
like,
wicked.
It was great, but it was like, why are y'all friends? Why are y'all together?
Right.
But it worked.
Josh Alexander come to the ring. 1 Canadian in, 1 Canadian out.
There we go. It finally fixed itself. Well, does that make KJ our headgear then? Because Josh is coming out here without his headgear.
I guess so.
Well, so how did you feel about this, sir, with the rematch part 2 between Hammerstone and Josh Alexander, to where Hammerstone leaves with Josh Alexander's headgear? So I think we're setting up part 3 Electric Boogaloo here.
Yeah, I think we're setting up part 3 for Rebellion. I was actually kind of shocked of Mr. Alex Hammerstone's actions at Sacrifice. I guess they need a heel in this feud. Obviously, Josh Alexander is not that heel. I'm interested to see how they pull this off, how this third match is. I feel like it needs to be some type of stipulation at this point. You've had 2 non-stipulation matches, make the third a stipulation.
Oh, absolutely. I think this is one of the best feuds that they have going. This is 2 of your top guys. We've got a walking weapon chant. But yeah, when you force a guy into a contract extension and everything, you probably don't want to give him an open mic to just be an asshole, because he might say some things you don't want him to say. So
Right.
yeah, he's very much got to be the baby face here, and especially Hammerstone's the outsider versus the heart and soul of TNA with Josh Alexander. But I think that those two, that's the definition of, especially when it comes to TNA, of fight forever.
Exactly. And it seems like that's the theme right now that TNA is kind of going with outsiders, because you got Nick Nemeth and Steve Macklin,
Mm.
you got Josh Alexander and Alex Hammerstone. I feel like they're gonna do something soon with Zaya Brooks, not Zaya Brookside, Ash by Elegance and Jordan Grace. It seems like that's been teased a little bit.
Oh,
So I think that's what's driving the stories right now is the outsiders versus the originals.
and does that not fit kind of well, really, if you think about it, with the fact that it's bonding the locker room together, especially if Scott's out, and well, Scott is out and everything, and he ain't coming back. So to bond the locker room together in that aspect, at least on screen, even really shows a united front, I feel.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really good and fitting doing it with the time of the rebrand from Impact Wrestling to TNA Wrestling. I think it's fitting.
Oh, absolutely. But we've got Josh out here cutting a promo, Kat out here asking Anthony why you wasn't big business. I feel like there's words missing in that question, but I don't know which.
I feel like it is too. I think I'm big business. I don't know.
Absolutely around here, though. It's the Wrestling for Life Network. 100%. Big things popping, little things up, and up to something season never sleeps. Why?
Right.
With Steve Macklin's contract coming up, do you see him going to AEW, sir?
I have to go and do a little research, but I feel like I saw an article where Steve Macklin actually said he wanted to stay in TNA. And then I'm not saying that as because I love TNA, but I'm like 99% sure I saw an article and Steve Macklin said he was looking to stay with TNA.
Stay where your bread is buttered. I mean, Christ, it's an example with Josh. It's an example with Moose. Of these all guys could have left, probably easily gone to WWE, and then decided that they'd rather stay. And if you're Macklin, would you rather go to AEW to where Moxley, Kingston, etc., 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 do the same shit you do to an ass to her respectfully, versus you stay here and you're one of one, you are the guy versus a guy in AEW?
Yeah. I think his better two options are TNA, stick with what you know, or WWE, because there's guys in WWE that have the Steve Macklin intensity, but there's not a lot. Like you just said, it's oversaturated in AEW.
Right.
And I think he'll just be one of those ones who is lost in the shuffle. And if I was Steve Macklin, I would sit back and watch and see what they do with my wife, Deonna Purrazzo, and see how her first year goes before I even think about signing with AEW.
But does he have that luxury of between, when his contract's up? Because we're pretty much, I think his ends, respectfully, I don't want to speak on pockets here, but I think it ends in like Mayish. I believe I heard.
Yeah, I think it's Mayish.
So I don't know if he's got that time, if he's just going to do like a per appearance type deal or anything.
I know you can do some type of extension. I know with Scott Demore, they would do extensions all the time, like small extensions. He can also run the independent scene for a couple of months after.
Wrestler Revolver, perfectly.
Yes, which Wrestling Revolver is this Saturday, which I didn't know until today. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
But
I believe we'll be here for that. I don't want to say anything too presumptively, but absolutely, we cover more wrestling than anybody else does out there live. And
that's not a prediction, that's a spoiler.
Right. But yeah, and big supporters of Wrestler Revolver. But so yeah, he could very much have a good run there for a couple months and just see what they do with Deonna.
Yeah, because I think KJ and I talked about it last stream that I was on. I was very nervous about what they're gonna do with Deonna. I'm not as nervous after seeing Mercedes Moné debut, because it seems like she's going to be in the mix with the TBS title and not thrusted into the world championship just yet. It seems like it's going to be a TBS championship thing with Mercedes. So maybe Deonna Purrazzo gets that second shot to become AEW Women's World Champion, but I don't know.
Fair enough. Well, I got some feelings and some opinions on there of where Deonna and what they're doing with Deonna compared to even what they're doing with Mercedes, and why those two women aren't crossing paths, or maybe that would be Deonna's mystery opponent or anything like that here. But so we've got Josh Alexander out here cutting a promo, and again, everybody's all the way behind him and Hammerstone, and now we've got Dirty Dango out here looking like, who is this man out here?
That's not Dirty Dango. That's that guy that was in Orange last week that I can never remember his name.
I can see why he's out here. He looks like an extra in every 90s to early 2000s hip hop video right now. Out here with getting Kozlov. There goes Dirty Dango.
Yeah, there he goes.
Again, this is a whole group of, why the fuck do you work? But you somehow work.
I've said it in the past that I feel like TNA is good at throwing some guys together and some reason making it work.
TNA is universe mode in the 2K games, just with a television deal.
Right. Oh, we got Santino Marella coming out.
Oh, I was like, man's coming out here with, get up on that. Coming out like David Brown. Get on with your bad self here. I love that he stays though with the whole Santino voice and everything, that he's not out there, fully talking serious. I'm waiting for him to cut a John Cena.
John Cena.
We're literally for a while, this man, because we started mentioning on stream, and it ruined me of saying the name John Cena, because I kept always going John Cena. We're going right here, right now. So we've got Kozlov taking on Josh Alexander. So what is the Canadian Commando 3 happening right now? Straight to your local Walmart $5 bin.
Have we even seen Kozlov wrestle since he came back to TNA?
Has Vladimir Kozlov wrestled since he left WWE? That is a good question.
Better question.
I kind of actually started to like Kozlov towards the end when he was just a pure straight man. He was just rushing Lance Storm a little bit. Just, can I be serious for a moment? Oh, ankle lock already. So this is probably going to be a quick match. Castay and Kozlov, as we've got an ankle lock. So bold strategy.
Got it locked in.
Yeah, and we've already got a tap out before I could even ask people's predictions.
The quickest match I've seen in a very long time on TNA.
Yeah.
Kat says, Anthony, how about Steve Macklin in New Japan? I think that will work as well. I think you might have touched on this last week, Nick, about Steve Macklin maybe ending up in New Japan.
That wouldn't be a bad shot at all, because he does have that, to an extent, of like when Moxley went over there, or I dare say it, of when like Bruiser Brody made his whole career over in New Japan. Like Macklin's one of those guys that just has that smash mouth offense and has almost halfway made famous the fucking horse collar with a door or a steel chair shit out there. Like he's mastered the Sabu spot. So it'd be interesting to see him out there, to where New Japan's very much that smash mouth style. And when they've lost guys like Okada, Ospreay, maybe they start to dip the other way of, all right, so we've given the US guys enough, so maybe we start pulling some of them in.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think Steve Macklin would fit perfectly in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I might even start watching it more if he did show up over there. I'm a big fan of Steve Macklin. You
got time at 3:00 in the morning? Because that's what we've been here before watching it.
I don't know if I can do the 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the only thing. That's the only issue with the actual New Japan shows, is when you're watching them over here, like they're in like the middle of the afternoon and shit.
Yeah. Man, those
But I've got
odd hours work watching wrestling is tiring sometimes.
right, but I've got Crazy Steve out here right now.
Yeah. Doing some type of weird promo here.
Could you? I know me and KJ have gone out about Dexter Lumis, and we've talked about Joe Gacy and NXT and everything. Could you see a guy like Crazy Steve, especially because now he's swole up from being X Division Crazy Steve out here? Could he work in WWE? Could he work on a bigger platform, even if it's not WWE, if it's AEW?
I can definitely see it working in WWE. It might even work in AEW if you kind of pair him with maybe the House of Black or something. But him and Dexter Lumis as a team would be very interesting to see in WWE.
That's all right. So I'm sure when KJ will come back, he'll touch on that. But yeah, that's interesting because that might make me, that might work really well. I could see Crazy Steve as just a solo singles guy. Like he doesn't have to be a world champion or anything like that. But as a granted, kind of what you're doing with him is a little carrying cross-ish. So it's one of those of can a company maintain more than one spooky guy?
I think and this is no offense to Karrion Kross because I really like him. I think he
By
could do
this, he means all of the offense. I'm Anthony's anger translator right now.
I think he could do it way better than Karrion Kross.
Fair enough. Well, we've got
What is this?
PCO and Crazy Steve. These two together is just an insane team, I feel. This is literally just all of the insanity, all of the spooky together here.
But if I'm not mistaken, weren't they at odds last year?
You never know. I mean, it's Frankenstein. You can light a torch by him. He just fire bad. So, but even PCO's kind of walking down Crazy Steve here. So could we?
Yeah.
I think we're more setting up for a PCO versus Crazy Steve feud for the Digital Media Championship.
Ooh, give PCO the title. I would like to see that.
Now, okay, so for those uninitiated and those probably also inebriated, explain, as we've got a replay of TNA Plus and everything, the Digital Media Championship, like where does that stand in the mythos, the lore, like the standings of TNA?
I don't think the Digital Media Championship is even a mid-level title. I think that's the X Division Championship. So it's the World Championship, the Knockouts World Championship, and then you have the two tags, the X Division. Actually, I'll put the X Division over both of the tags. And then the Digital Media Championship. I think that's, I don't want to say lower card, but they treat it very well. So I can confidently call it a lower card title, but it's booked very well.
It's
Because
your
you do
Continental
see,
Classic Championship almost, or well, because I was going to say there's no WWE comparable. You can't say it's the 24/7 title. I don't feel
right. I would say, yeah, more of the Continental title. I think I've seen the TNA faithfuls actually be excited about Digital Media Championship matches. So they make that championship very relevant in TNA. And I hate to call it a low card title, but that's kind of what it is.
Well, no, I think it's very much it's the I'll take a step up and say it's the international title to like the X Division. I think is probably like your TNT title.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is.
Right, Kathy, what up? Vegeta, what up?
Vegeta.
I keep wanting to just go all Dragon Ball Z references every time I read Vegeta. Go all Nappa, Vegeta. Brother Fluff, what up? Trey, what up? Chris, what up? Vegeta out here saying Monsters Ball would be better. As I've got Kazarian right now taking on Ace Austin, sir.
Yeah, which I know they had kind of a backstage kind of segment at Sacrifice, which led to this match. I don't know how I feel about Frankie Kazarian being the heel. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it at all.
Well, is it that, or are you also not buying ABC 1, 2, 3 as the baby faces here a little bit? Like they're
Yeah,
still kind of Bullet Club,
that too. I they play better heels. And it's kind of weird to see them in that baby face kind of vibe here.
right? Sorry, this just popped me on just on an extra nerd level. So side tangent, if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, and go watch Team 4-Star Dragon Ball Z Abridged, because this is what this is from. I caught a Pokemon, Vegeta. I'm not a Pokemon, I'm a Chaozu. And again, my nerd is showing, so I'll keep it moving. Granted, we're wrestling fans, so I think our nerd is permanently showing.
Your nerd is showing. That's
Oh,
hilarious.
well, remember, yeah, from The Simpsons there. Hey, Bart, your epidermis is showing, and he falls out of the treehouse there. Kazarian for the win. So again, folks, let us know who you're taking for this match, as I've exposed myself as an uber nerd. But so, sir, who are you taking? Whether you're taking Kazarian or Ace Austin here?
I'm taking Ace Austin, but I guess Frankie Kazarian calls himself the king of TNA. That's weird.
He called himself the Elite Hunter and couldn't hunt shit. This man literally. This man couldn't fucking find a Pokemon in Pokemon Go and called himself the fucking Elite Hunter. So fuck off with your fucking nicknames here, Kazarian. No, the worst thing you could do as a human being is give yourself a nickname. You
Right.
earn a nickname, or you get given a nickname. You can't give yourself a nickname. Kaz for the win. Kaz is no longer AEW. Guess so. Yeah, no, he hasn't. He hasn't been, and I think I was gonna say Daniels, but I feel like we haven't seen Daniels in TNA really. I thought he was kind of tiptoeing because we saw Kazarian do that for a little bit, and then they're just like, we don't need you anymore. You can go be more the Impact Hunter instead of the Elite Hunter.
I think Kazarian came back to TNA, I want to say at Hard to Kill last year. And he made a big, kind of promo in hindsight, talking about why he left AEW. And he felt like I think he said he felt like he wasn't valued at AEW, and he went back to TNA. So yeah, he's been gone for quite a while.
Right. Well, does Kazarian need to really, I feel, lean into the grizzled veteran gimmick and everything of like, I'm one of the guys who helped found this fucking company damn near almost. So more going to that, old Clint Eastwood type shit, instead of he's still halfway out here of like, I can still hit a shooting star. Maybe not, my guy. Maybe be that old tactician, that grizzled vet.
Yeah, I think you're more onto being that old vet. I think that fits perfectly for Frankie Kazarian. And he's a great wrestler. He has some great matches with Eddie Edwards last year. The storyline sucked, but
yeah. Yeah, it did. As we got a slingshot leg drop for a 2 count here. Kyle saying, what about Shelton Benjamin? Would he be a better fit in TNA or AEW? Well, that depends on if you ask Max Caster or not. Bro, that man's just trying to get fired.
At this point, everything that he's been tweeting over the past couple of days, at this point,
he was hacked. Remember, he was hacked. He agrees with the hacker, so he's not taking anything down, but he was hacked, allegedly. Right, yeah.
Allegedly.
Just also happens to take a picture with Sammy and say how he's a really great guy right after Sasha's out there of, putting stuff out for the show and everything. But, you have that. That ain't what I'm mad at.
I don't know if Shelton Benjamin would work in AEW. That's just me personally. But at this point, I kind of want to see everybody in TNA.
He would work in either. I'll put it that way, because I think he's always had a super athletic style. Like, to me, Shelton Benjamin's always been super underrated. I even like the gold standard Shelton Benjamin. Ain't no stopping me, no. but he could very much wrestle more of an athletic style, and I think both companies need a guy that has that experience, like needs more veterans in that locker room.
And that's true. That's true. I didn't think about it that way. The AEW needs some veterans in that locker room. Yeah,
Well, they listen? That's another question.
that's
Again,
another
like I
thing.
said,
That's definitely another thing.
depends on if you ask the guy who's suspended or the guy who's about to be suspended. But Kazarian right now in control, got Ace Austin out on the outside here. ABC, now, could you see an ABC, going outside of TNA? Especially, we've seen now tag team divisions are all the tag team tournaments and everything are all the rage when it comes to pro wrestling. So could they maybe fit in an NXT or an AEW or anything like that?
I can definitely see them in NXT. I think they would do well in NXT. And I know Triple
But
H
you
is
can't be
working.
Bullet Club.
You can't be Bullet Club. That is true. And I think Shawn Michaels can figure out a way to work around that and figure out, some type of new thing for them.
Ace Austin and Chris Bay. You combine their fucking names. It's ABC. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Simple as that. You don't need the fucking Bullet Club. You don't. AEW.
And if you've noticed over the past month or so, they've kind of shied away from that because I think they've been calling themselves the Ace and Bay Club. I think.
Hey, they just AJ Styles might need some new friends because the Good Brothers are down in NXT.
Right. So I think with just a small tweak, they could do well in NXT and eventually make it to the main roster.
Fair enough. Well, even people are now throwing out names as Ace Austin are now in control here.
Bay versus
versus
Carmelo
Mello.
Anthony.
Let's go.
Oh yeah.
That's the thing is there's a whole lot of young guys there that they could just have nothing but fun matches with. And maybe that's where you get a 205 live title or, a cruiserweight or a light heavyweight title comes back.
Yeah.
Oh,
the crowd is behind Ace Austin.
Well, you always cheer for the young whippersnapper. 1, 2, 2 go, 2 go, 2 go. Chicken wing, chicken wing. But you don't think that they go AEW and go with Jay White now that we've got what's no longer Bang Bang Scissor Gang. We've now actually got Bullet Club Gold back again.
Yeah, I did see that last night. That could be great for them as well. And AEW does have a great tag team division. You can't deny that as well. I think both options would be great. I do think NXT might be a better fit for them. But I think both options would work.
Oh, absolutely. I have Steven out here saying Grizzly Young veterans are telling ABC stay away from WWE. No, I bet you right now if JYV went back under Hunter, hold everything. They'd stay GYV. They wouldn't be the stupid schism, dism, dyad bullshit.
Which the schism fizzled out fairly quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, and everyone outside of JYV is still struggling to recover from it because you've got Ava out here being, the horselip GM of NXT, and you've got Joe Gacy out here just getting his ass beat from pillar to post, taking L's to Dijak.
Yeah. And what Ava, I think you said Ava is like the general manager.
Yeah, don't trust me. When KJ comes back, if KJ comes back, ask him about Ava and just watch the fucking fireworks happen. We've established she looks more like a Hot Topic manager than a wrestling general manager. Ace Austin taps out to the chicken wing. He got choked out by the buffalo chicken wing. Hey, Anthony KJ. Well, I'm not KJ, but I'll answer this. How you feel about Steve Macklin as the new leader of the Bullet Club, and then Dave Finlay? Well, Dave Finlay's already the leader. I could see Macklin, if we went to Japan, being in that version of the Bullet Club, because that's very much become just more mercenary club than anything, and I kind of dig it. But yeah, I don't think he needs to be the leader.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I don't think he needs to be the leader, but he can definitely fit in very easily.
Vegeta saying, old guys beating young guys, L. So how you feeling? So Kazarian picked up the win, and now he's just literally just taking it to both Ace Austin and Chris Bay. So
Somebody got to come out to help him.
oh, EY.
Yep. And then Frankie Kazarian running.
Are you surprised still, though, that
I'm not.
WWE could not? Well, okay. You didn't even let me ask the question, so I won't even finish it. Are you surprised that WWE could never figure out EY or figure out what the fuck to do with him?
Yeah, I'm not. I answered that perfectly before you even asked the question. I think they had something going with what was the name of the group? Sanity. I think they had something really going with Sanity, and when it because it was in NXT first, and they moved it up to the main roster, Sanity, and it Vince McMahon was on something back then, because I thought Sanity was very, very cool, and I think
on everything.
Right. I think it could have worked very well. And then he re-signed again, and I know it was on his own terms to leave, because he said he couldn't work, with he had to put his morals first, but they just could never, figure out something for him. And Sanity was perfect.
Well, and we talked about even a guy like a Crazy Steve, or a guy like Dexter. Like, imagine if we could have seen full high octane EY either going at or involved with a Wyndham Rotunda, a Bray Wyatt.
Oh man,
that to me, that's a closet, an underrated, like, Sting Taker type shit of, like, those two guys were peak, just unhinged gimmicks. So
yeah. Oh man, I feel like we're missing out on a lot with him not being here any longer. I mean, you mentioning Crazy Steve and Bray Wyatt in the same sentence is not even something I've ever thought of, because that could have been something special.
that's the thing, and that's what really sucks, and that's why, though, as we've got Sabin, Shelley, and Kushida backstage here, but so I'll mention this. I think that's why, I know I wanted initially and thought it was going to be there with Wyndham and Rotunda getting into the Hall of Fame as a tag team, that we were going to get his son in. I think they might now at this point wait until the next year, because to me, this Hall of Fame class, if they add one more person, it almost might be too much. And I feel like if it's not him, then I almost feel like you don't add anybody, because, like, anybody else, you're like, he's going to overshadow everything. And I think right now this is more like the Paul Heyman thing. So maybe have that be a solo inductee, like, separate to everything.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think this Hall of Fame is more centered around Paul Heyman, Philadelphia, ECW,
Right.
type thing. I think they should potentially wait until next year and have Bray Wyatt be the Paul Heyman, be the Undertaker of the Hall of Fame, that one lead guy, and then get some other people behind him. But if you did it with this class, like you said, it's going to overshadow everything because it's so recent, with Bray Wyatt's passing.
Mhm.
And I think that I think it personally, they should wait another year.
Fair enough. I thought with them doing literally both his namesakes I thought that was just the writings on the wall there a little bit, but I do see how that's a force of nature, and that's literally what he was. So it'd be one of those of Heyman then becomes second fiddle, and then everybody else just takes a back seat a
Right.
little bit here. But we do have Joe Hendry right now taking on spare change AJ Francis, as I've got Hendry coming out here. And like C Money says, make sure you Samoan spike that like button, be a friend, tell a friend. We're here for anything and everything when it comes to pro wrestling. Here, we're going to be back at it like a jackrabbit tomorrow for Friday Night SmackDown, where we might even have the concert with Dwayne. We might have sing along with The Rock.
The Rock concert.
Well, since Rock's baby left him, he's found a new place to dwell. It's down at the end of Jabroni Drive at SmackDown Hotel. I'm in the music vibe here. We got half a rapper and
Leaving Joe Hendry.
Literally just pop star, like jack of all trades, master of them all as well. Joe Hendry out here.
Chat, who you taking in this match, Joe Hendry or AJ Francis? I don't bet against Joe Hendry.
It's so interesting to me though to have watched Joe Hendry when he was in like WCPW and everything, like from the UK scene, to where he was like the guy, like he was the top heel and everything, to where like he could switch at any moment and be in there having top feuds with Josh Alexander, Hammerstone, Moose, etc. But I believe in Joe Hendry.
And I'm looking forward to the day where Joe Hendry is having those top matches with like Josh Alexander going for the world title. I'm looking forward to
But
that.
does he have to get the bleach blonde out of his hair? Does he have to not crack so many jokes and everything and not just be the Deadpool of TNA a little bit to really be in that kind of situation?
I feel like if he lets that go, that just ruins his character.
Not if you book it, not if you give him a reason.
True. And TNA is good at booking. Definitely good at, booking. So you might be right. He might have to let it go just a tad bit to be in that top spot. I would actually like him to be his authentic self or what he is now in the top spot. I think it could work either way. But if you want that more serious side of Joe Hendry, you can definitely book it that way.
I could see you doing that. Sorry, he's cutting a whole promo, but I could absolutely see him doing that though. Now that I'm thinking about it, of Christ, we've got his, countrymen out there, Drew McIntyre, kind of doing almost a variation of it out there.
Right.
He just did it more of being that super heel smartass the whole time. That works just as well. Of I'm, gonna just lay it into you, and you can't come back with it because you're not that good on the mic.
Right. And that Drew McIntyre is just on a different level right now with everything he's saying. He's being that funny but evil, maniacal human being at this point. And I can see Joe Hendry doing that as a heel, still being funny but still being super, super serious.
Oh, absolutely. And Drew McIntyre is just very much following that philosophy of, I am aware that I am an asshole. I really don't care about all of that.
And I feel like that's what they're trying to do, at least a little bit with Candice LeRae after.
No, we can talk about that whole thing after this match, because I was watching that live, and that's bad. That's bad. That's really, really bad. And it makes me awfully mad. Well, Sabres 4, New York Islanders 0. Yeah, fuck the Islanders, I guess. Small Mark saying, surprised to know Dashwood and Madcap haven't shown up in TNA yet. give it time. They just shout out the newlyweds there. I believe they just recently got married.
Yeah, they did just recently get married.
But so, folks, let us know who you're taking for this match, whether you're taking flop dollar, do something strange for a little piece of change, AJ Francis or Joe Hendry.
Seems like AJ Francis has the upper hand at this point too.
Well, I'm sure he'll come up with insufficient funds at the end here.
Yeah, he might try to dive over the top.
No, that's the man Gravity forgot. Everyone thought it was Puck. No, it's this man, because this man just well, he's the reverse Puck. Puck's
He's
the guy
the reverse
Gravity forgot. He's the guy Gravity remembered. I'm gonna keep you here, bitch. You ain't getting off nothing. You can't jump with a Puck. You have a negative vertical leap. I didn't even know that was possible.
Oh, yeah, he definitely has the upper hand. So Anthony Vargas says, what if Rich Swann turns? You can't trust anybody. Money talks, friendships walk. True. And it seems like Rich Swann, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, he was having a little confusion in the ring a little bit. And I could see Rich Swann turning, which would be a little shocking, but I can see it. I definitely can see it.
Fair enough. Oh, splash from Francis. That he's not even AJ. That's his name is Francis. You look like a fucking Francis. Joe Hendry for the win. He's banned from diving. Yes. Q101. Have fun in the penalty box. Appreciate you, but have fun. Make facial expressions when he enjoy Rampage tomorrow. No, don't you put that evil on me. I'll be here live for it, but enjoying it is a different question.
I'm not going to enjoy Rampage. I'm letting you know now.
Does anyone at this point? I've seen the idea thrown out as AJ's literally been Joe Hendry counters that into a DDT.
Nice.
I've seen people throw out the idea of Rampage just being an all-woman show. That, again, to me, I think it just shouldn't be a show, but that's neither here nor there.
The last time I watched Rampage was the first time I watched Rampage, and I was showed up. So,
and this man just forgot he didn't show up on Wednesday for Dynamite and fucked up a Friday. Yeah, Rampage is just what Ring of Honor should have always been.
Yeah. Ooh, power slam.
2 count. Anthony, what up? You are banned from diving. Yeah, you're not making an Olympic team. But Henry firing up right now. Oh, the ref got the. Why the would you move there?
That was stupid.
It's just one of those like no human ever would make that movement. Why did you make that movement? So ref takes the bump in between AJ and Hendry here as AJ out here grabbing a steel chair. Joe Hendry's got to do this and do like the Eddie spot of like just smash it and then like put it around himself and be like, he hit me.
Are we gonna get a new ref? I mean,
yeah, well, that's always the question. Hey, Rich Swann showing up here.
Oh,
but that's the thing is, well, could this be the turn you were just
because I was just about to say that. Could this be the turn?
Fuck. He's got the steel chair. He's looking like he's about to hit AJ and boom, right into Joe Hendry.
Well,
no, he's seen the quarter that was hidden in between the couch cushions here. Has Rich Swann seen the light? No, he's do something strange for a little piece of change.
I think Anthony Vargas is secretly a writer for TNA. I'm calling it out.
Yeah. I mean, if you are, hook a motherfucker up. We'll work. All of our socials and everything right there. I mean, you've heard our ideas. Don't just take them. Just pay us for it. But yeah, so I like Rich Swann, but I'm going to say something that might offend some people here. So, well, no, just so Flop Dollar managed to find his discount swerve here.
Discount swerve.
I mean, does Rich Swann rap? Do you know? Top Swan I apply. Big Rich I. Yeah, flop when I dive. Yeah, flop when I dive. Hey, AJ, if you need someone to write some bars for you, because I know you can't, so I'll help you. Hey, but we've got Alan Angels and we've got Ash by Elegance with shout out to homie George out there. But yeah, and it's so funny because I think between you and everything else, this gimmick's starting to grow on me.
See, you went from
I went from Team
to all the way. This gimmick is starting to grow on me.
It might be like a fungus, but it's growing on me.
I like that.
Hey, this is literally Roderick Strong with a bald. If Johnny Hungy and Roderick Strong just fusion danced, is Alan Angels, and then I like this though because I like that. I'm starting to get the whole Ash gimmick. It's basically like Carmella and Reggie ish. Like the vignettes, the videos, the interviews, and everything sell me on it perfectly. I just need the in-ring to match it.
I think what we're gonna see with Ash is she has to have a really good match with someone substantial in TNA for us to really see her in-ring ability. I think it's there. I think it's just going to take a big match for it to happen.
Is Jordynne Grace that opponent?
I think Jordynne Grace is.
But so let us know, folks, how you feeling about Ash by Elegance as we literally see people bringing out trash backstage. We're out here on, equipment carts and everything as literally the man George is to me what's made this out here. He's having to put down a napkin so Ash can sit on the fucking equipment trunk.
She's having her third match next week. That's the huge announcement. I feel like they're playing off of Tony Khan. I'm not even gonna lie with the huge announcements with Ash by Elegance.
Well, I'll take that versus his own EVP is literally doing his own cadence and his own little awkward talk to the camera shit and everything on his own television program. Like, I pay you fuckers and you're making fun of me.
Exactly.
But I've got Danny Luna and Jody Threat coming out right now. I did not know that they were called Spitfire.
That was just announced at Sacrifice. So you get a pass, Nick. You get a pass.
There we go. I'll take it. I'll gladly take that because I'm a fan of Danny Luna. I'm surprised KJ's not more of a fan of Jody Threat. But yeah, I think Danny Luna to me has future Knockouts Women's Champion written all over it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I like this comment down here by C Money. Trash by Flatulence.
I mean, you can have that. Not even what I'm mad at. Get the champagne. Yeah, a little bit of the bubbly. Spitfire sounds suspicious. TNA is definitely bad.
Ooh.
MK Ultra coming out. So we're about to set up the tag title defense here.
Yeah. What I'm very confused about was why did we have Decay come back, win the titles to lose them? I'm a little bit confused about that.
I'm very confused by the TNA women's title division because no disrespect to anybody, but I really liked MK Ultra, obviously like Decay and everything. I thought, and we've talked about it before, of the idea of you're having your first women's tag team Monsters Ball being, as I'm sure we're about to get Decay right now. So we're setting up a fatal four way. Is that where we go?
I mentioned Decay and they show up. Okay.
Right. Well, speak of, well, she's not exactly a devil or everything with Rosemary. She's like an entity. So speak of the entity, and they shall appear. But yeah, I thought we were going to get a Monsters Ball match between MK Ultra and Decay for the belts.
Yeah.
Now it's looking like we're going to get a four-way match, or at least a triple threat here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where we're headed. I think that's where we're headed to at Rebellion. I'm so glad I'm seeing Decay. I really like Decay. So Damien wants my thoughts on Eddie Kingston versus Okada, which I believe happens next week. I have said this before with the previous host of Impact. I'm not a fan of Eddie Kingston. So
yeah, forward. Go ahead. Finish what you're going to say. Go ahead. I'm listening. I want to hear it. No, I'm being genuine. I want to hear it because I've been.
I don't think he's a bad wrestler.
Defenders is getting slimmer and slimmer.
I don't think he's a bad wrestler. I don't think he's bad on the mic or anything. I just don't like Eddie Kingston. I think that's just what it is. I don't see why people like him. I'm gonna just be honest. So. You're ready to speak. I know you are.
Well, no, I don't even want to fully even get like you can have that because we can talk about that with his whole promos and everything, like to where he's sitting there going at Ilya and everything. This is not fucking acting. If I don't have screws in my knee because this is fucking acting and everything. But my whole thing is Eddie, they have fumbled the fucking ball multiple times, especially since Players Tribune piece. And then to me, Okada shows up and he's comedy gimmicks with the Young Bucks, and he's going to make Marvez sing happy birthday to Matthew and everything. And then he's going to go after the Continental Classic. This is the same guy that could have slotted in. Granted, it might have been haberdashed, but into WrestleMania 40, at the very least, WrestleMania 41 and everything could have been out there having matches with Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, etc., etc., etc. And instead, respectfully, I'll say this, is going to have a match with Eddie Kingston, probably beat Eddie for the Continental Classic. And then what? Like, so Okada, your big, oh my God, they snuck him under WWE's nose. Can you believe they got him? And he's going to be your Continental Classic champion, which no one was giving Eddie respect for. So why the fuck are we giving Okada respect for it now if he wins it?
You said everything in that little rant. I mean,
it happens.
I don't get the fandom where it says WWE fumbled Okada or WWE fumbled Will Ospreay. I think I've seen some things today about Triple H doesn't know what he lost. Will Ospreay is excellent on the mic and all that stuff. And I'm like, WWE is fine. If you're watching their product, it's fine with the wrestlers that they have. So why are we comparing something that has not existed yet? It would have been different if he did go to WWE, because we have seen not Eddie Kingston. We have seen Will Ospreay in AEW before, not being signed, but he's been there multiple times.
Same with Okada.
Something that we haven't seen yet. That's what I think.
Oh, absolutely. So Danny Luna and Jody Threat, so Spitfire, pick up the win in the same amount of time as my rant here. Can I ever get your thoughts on Eddie Kingston versus Okada?
I think I gave it. Like, I don't like Eddie Kingston. I really like Okada. I only paid to go to Dynamite last Wednesday to see Okada, so I really like Okada.
But are you happy with the Okada we're getting? But so that set up very much. Sorry. Real quick. So we had the match between Danny Luna and Jody Threat versus tag team. Tasha Steele's out here. But so we're setting up a triple threat for the tag titles. women's tag titles.
I'm gonna let you finish it all.
No, you're good. You're good. I was going to ask your opinion on, so how do you feel about now past that week? How do you feel about the Okada we've gotten?
I don't know.
That's a no. That's a big 10-4. That's a big no. That's bad. That's bad. That's really, really bad. It's just, this guy went from literally 7-star Okada, the fucking Rainmaker, having career-defining matches with, Omega and Osprey and everything else, and Naito and this name and that name, was the fucking John Cena of New Japan, and now he's out there being,
with
the Young Bucks bad man, like bag handler. Make sure you sing happy birthday to Matthew.
All right, so we got a TNA Knockouts World Championship match next week, it seems like.
Hey, let's go. Let's
Yeah.
go.
Asha Steels and Jordan Grace.
Right. Chastity, what up? Unbroken, what up? Oh. Eddie hates having 3 belts because he has to do extra. Oh, QMDB. Well, here out here, he thinks he's so tough because he's from New York. Exactly. We're born different, bred different. Well, there was one out here that we were saying, yeah, Eddie Kingston smells like tobacco and used tires. Fuck you for being accurate. New York strong, absolutely. See, we got a contingency moving up in here. But yeah, so next week we're getting Jordan Grace versus Tasha Steelz. So we're setting up for the main event here.
Main event, yeah. Man, tonight went by real quick.
Really, like, nothing really dropped off at all.
Yeah.
That's the thing. So we've got the Rascals coming out. So we've got the Rascals and Steve Macklin taking on Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth, the newest host of Busted Open Radio, and the Speedball Mountain, which I think I said earlier before you got here. It sounds like Ric Flair and Tony Khan at an after party.
It does. It does.
Sorry, go ahead.
I said this match should be good.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they've at least given it 15-ish minutes, if not. Well, because I always get thrown off of whether they still go the 2 hours or whether they're not. So they could go probably up to about 45 minutes, honestly.
That's true.
Match, especially being a 6-man tag match. You're one of the rare New Yorkers actually like, well, I'm glad I passed the test here. 2 words about New York guys being tough, Nick, Vince. Nah, you can't do that. You can't do that. You can't find the one chink in the armor here and then just try and use that as a fucking leverage here. Bro. But so who you got here, sir? Who you got in this match?
I got Nick Nemeth and the Rascals, shockingly. I'm a face.
You combined both teams. You made a double turn there because you said Nick Nemeth and
did I?
Yes.
I'm looking at Steve Macklin and said Nick Nemeth. But yeah, I got Steve Macklin and the Rascals, and I'm usually a face guy. I don't really gel with the heels a lot of the time, so I usually choose the faces. But this time I'm going heel.
I actually want to agree with you because I think this is going to really lean into setting up Macklin versus Nemeth.
Yeah, at Rebellion.
And you can't have Nemeth win every match.
You can't. Even though I know they want to push him very strong, you can't have him win everything.
Right. Wrestling, bro. Yeah. We can get into a whole different side topic with that man. Brooklyn Brawler is the touching end wire ever produced. What? Oh, toughest. Okay. I was like, what now? Kyle's Team Nemeth.
Team Nemeth.
Unbroken's just out here just randomly giving White Claw recommendations. Damien's taking Nick Nemeth. I like what TNA has done with him because they haven't shoved him down our throats or whatever in that he's not out there doing everything. He's still very much allowing everybody else and everything else that's going on. And he's not instantly even going at the world title. He's going at Macklin. That's the feud. He had his match with Moose. He was unsuccessful. And now he's found a feud to get back to there.
And with TNA's track record, they usually push newcomers, especially from WWE, very, very fast into the title picture. And to see that's not happening with Nick Nemeth is refreshing. But him being in a feud with Steve Macklin is still, a top tier feud, and it's still main event worthy. But I am looking forward to the day where they push him into that world title scene.
Oh, absolutely. I think he could do well and very much fit as a world champion in TNA. I think it's interesting to see that he at one point was at almost kind of the apex when it came to WWE, of that huge reaction when he cashed in Money in the Bank on Alberto, to now he was damn near an afterthought. So this is a complete career revitalization here, I feel, and it's really reminded everybody who he is.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a career rejuvenation for Nick Nemeth. And I'm so happy he's no longer with WWE, doing his own thing, making his name, making a name for himself. I'm liking this.
Right. Dolph's first action was to attack Moose. Facts. I don't know what we're going on about with that. Macklin for the W. Vance, what up? Jesse just randomly shouting out Ohio Valley Wrestling. Now, I'll ask this as we've got Macklin and Nemeth squaring off right now, because Mercedes already kind of brought up the whole thing about, well, when she goes back to WWE, could you ever see Nemeth going back to WWE? Does this give enough juice behind his career there that it's much like a Naomi and Trinity that he goes back over? Because we can talk about her going to Dynamite anyways on a different topic.
I don't really see Nick Nemeth going back. I think he did. I don't know. I think he was, I don't want to use treated so bad, but he was misused so much in WWE, and he was there for a very, very long time, longer than, Trinity, longer than Sasha Banks. That I don't see him ever going back. I think he just kind of rides this wave of being kind of the indie scene for the rest of his career. TNA is definitely not indie, but I can see him going to AEW most likely after his TNA run, but I don't see him ever going back to WWE.
I think he stays in TNA. If he doesn't go to WWE, he stays in TNA, and he also does some dates in New Japan, because I do like the idea of him over in New Japan as well, because they've set that up as we've got a superplex off the top rope there. Macklin with a 2 count on Bailey here. Yeah, Dolph was in WWE since the Ruthless Aggression era. Yeah, he was out there. Nikki and the Spirit Squad.
MDB down here says that AEW is glorified indie. TNA is closer to WWE than AEW is.
I mean,
I don't know.
One might own the other here soon, I feel.
Yeah.
Dolph Ziggler definitely going back to WWE for his Hall of Fame speech. Oh, Paul's already putting good old Zigglypuff in the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Bold strategy, Cotton. Bold strategy. I think you got a good chunk of time before that would happen.
a good chunk of time.
Right, respectfully. No offense, but
Speedball had to check if he still has some teeth after that hit from Macklin.
right. Well, that could just be from the speedballs, but we'll see. Trent 7 firing up for the tag here.
Come on, Speedball, get to that corner. There we go.
Why does Trent 7 always look like Gandalf wrestling? Like, no one dyes their hair intentionally silver that I know of.
He does look like he's from Harry Potter.
Now, today, kids, I'm going to teach you a lesson. Mr. Potter. But so right now, Trey Miguel and Trent 7 in the ring right now.
Yep.
Is Patrick St. Patty's Day this weekend? Nick should break out the Spirit Squad attire. Why I gotta be the one out here in all of the get-ups? I mean, I do try to dress up in them, but you don't gotta tell me to do it.
I feel like you started it with that neck brace.
I'm right, but I'm like a child of you. If you tell me to dress up, I'm not gonna dress up. If you don't tell me, I just might do it. I need Jordan Grace to do. Wait, whoa, no, shouldn't have clicked that. Gandalf wrestling over Johnny wrestling.
That comment took a dark turn.
Yeah, right. You're not gonna lie. You had us in the first half. Don't dress up there. No more monitors for you, Unbroken. Absolutely. So Trent 7 very much selling the knee / the hamstring here right now.
The Rascals and Steve Macklin have the upper hand.
Right.
Come on. They're not gonna let Trent 7 get to the tag.
Oh no, they are. Well, that's gonna be the big baby face moment.
Yeah,
that'll probably be the fucking. I don't want to say hopefully it's gonna be the finish. I mean, we're probably up against it, but that'll probably be what it is they set to that. They get the huge hot tag to Nemeth, who's calling for it, and he just House of Fire comes in and ends up famous and everybody here. Pause. Rough riding. That's not anywhere better.
I think that actually might be worse.
That's worse. That's worse. Logan Paul Heyman guy. I could see it. But Macklin right now just working over the knee of 7 roll up.
All right. This is your time. Oh, got hit with a
two go.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna drag him back into the wall. Still working over the whole knee with Trent 7 here. Yes, I know he's Lord of the Rings.
I think I was the one that said Harry Potter. That was
right. Blame that one for being a bad nerd, not me. But Macklin right now just working over Trent 7's knee in the center of the ring here. Now, is it interesting, though, to an extent, in a main event match, to where you've got a spot like this, and respectfully, unless this is like a blood feud type thing, you've slowed it down. You've slowed it way down.
They have slowed it way down.
That's the thing. All of the momentum, I feel, has left the building.
Yeah. At first, it was starting off very quickly, but when they've grounded Trent 7, it's just been like in those old WWE games when you ran out of momentum and you just fell to the ground as you
Just
were
button
rolling.
mashing of
I
just
think the sound was like, "Ew." It's just
right.
like that.
Tag to Wentz. So Trent Seven's firing up now. Oh, Christ. Stomp to the back.
I mean,
They are
ugh,
working over Trent Seven
7. Yep.
in this whole situation. Like, this man
Not a
is going to
bit
have
of an
most
upper hand.
minutes in this match, I feel.
Oh, he finally can at least get to speedball.
The Macklin Post speedball off the
Ah,
apron. Step up knee.
looked like he lost a tooth with that step up knee. Ooh.
What selling was that though? He just went, ah. I have been struck. Oh, what's he gonna hit? Oh, superplex setting up right now.
Ooh. Yeah. Nasty superplex. Everyone down.
Oh, we're getting a "This is awesome" chant, and I would disagree. Not saying it's bad, but
It's definitely
it's
not bad.
there.
I don't know if it's deserving of a "This is awesome" chant. We finally get Nick and Steve at it again.
Right. Well, like I said, I thought this is the spot we were gonna get fucking 5 minutes plus ago of now Nick Nemeth coming in here like a house of fire. He's got every member of the team in a different corner here. So now it's just splash on everybody.
Mm-hmm. That was a strong neck breaker.
Right.
Ugh. I feel like I want to change my pick here, but I still think it's going to be the Rascals and Steve Macklin.
Yeah. Well, if it is at this point, I feel like it's going to be one of those like a surprise roll up. Where all of a sudden they grab, Trent Seven is because they worked him over, and he'll be the one that eats the fucking pin here.
Yeah.
1, 2, as Miguel breaks it up here. As Zigglypuff sends Miguel on the outside here, so we're back to Macklin.
Steve Macklin and Nick Nemeth, yeah.
Right.
Ooh.
Zigzag is one of the worst finishers ever. I mean, I feel like if I really needed to, I could come up with a few that are much worse.
Like the leg drop.
Whoa, when it comes crashing down and it hurts inside. I was even going to talk about more like with Grayson Waller, where he's got to sit there and do like a cannonball roll into his finisher.
Yeah.
Shiniest of wizards there from Steve Macklin on the Trent 7. And now, I was going to say, now if you hit a shining wizard on a wizard, is that like a double negative? Like, do you get a wish or something that pops out at the end there? Do you get the one ring that controls your booking?
I guess so. Do you get the 7 Dragon Balls? You might get this.
You get a Dragon Ball. For every shining wizard you hit on a wizard, you get a Dragon Ball. So you got to do it 7 times.
7 times. Oh, the Rascals and Steve Macklin not getting along.
That's the shiniest Gandalf.
Oh, they're
Oh,
leaving Steve Macklin.
well, when you got hired guns, hired goons, so
Well, now I want to change my pick.
right now our pick's kind of fucked here, as you know, we had Speedball out there hitting the moonsault
Ooh,
on the outside on everybody. Zigzag, 1, 2, 3. So smoke them if you got them. Zigglypuff and the Cocaine Cowboys pick up the 1, 2, 3 here.
we were definitely wrong there.
Yeah, well, it's one of those a little bit of if you have the face win all the time, it's like, so then what are they exactly fighting against?
Right. Because I'm like, they've won plenty. And I really felt like this was Steve Macklin and the Rascals, but I guess we were wrong tonight.
Right. Oh, as we've got the system coming out right now.
Oh, Moose, Brian Myers, Eddie Edwards. I think that's Alicia running down the ramp. Yeah, I think that was. Ooh.
Oh, good googly moogly.
Yeah, there's Alicia. She had to stick
Her hair color matches her outfit, like, and not in a good way.
And it doesn't look good at all.
Fucking caramel macchiato running out down here. So we've got the system just decimating Nick Nemeth and Speedball Mountain here, which I feel like they're more just peripherally out here. I don't like them as a faction or anything with Nemeth here, but again, I like this of you got the system ends the show standing tall as they have all the gold.
Wow. And he said to Nick Nemeth, welcome to TNA. My name is Moose.
Right. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is Moose. M to the OC.
Wow.
Well, folks, that does it for TNA Impact tonight. Your fallout from Sacrifice. So we got a 33 1/3% chance, I guess, that tonight was a good show. But what was your ratings for tonight's show, sir? And again, let us know in the chat what you felt for tonight out of 10.
I would give it a solid 7.5. I don't know if that's. I feel like it's a bit high. I'm gonna drop it. I'm gonna say 7.
I just had to look a certain way.
I'm gonna do a cool 7.
Just a straight even 7.
Yeah.
All right. State your case, because I will say I'm lower than that. So but not super far off. So that's why state your case. And again, if you haven't done so, let us know. We do take a ratings for all the shows. Let us know out of 10 what you're giving TNA's Impact tonight right now.
I think the show stayed very consistent. The main event I wasn't too happy about. I think it was a bit long and it was definitely slowed in momentum, but I think the show as a whole was very, very consistent. I think that's why I'm kind of giving it a 7. I enjoyed the tag team match with Danny Luna and Spitfire, and I think Decay came out, MK Ultra. I like that kind of whole segment. Joe Hendry and AJ Francis was good, and then we had this turn with Rich Swann. I did expect a little bit more out of Mustafa Ali and Chris Sabin, but maybe they're pushing towards Rebellion. And that could be the case, but I do feel like it was consistent throughout the entirety of the show. So I think that's why my 7 is there.
Fair enough. Well, we've got 7, 6.2, 8 out of 10, 5, 7, 7, 6.5, 0 out of 10. No Trish, 8.5. I'm gonna go 6.5. I hear your case. for a 7, I'm not too far off.
I don't think that's bad.
Yeah, well, it wasn't bad. I think it started off hot, and then it didn't fall off. It just kind of, you could see it like take a step and then just kept going a little bit. I think the angle out of the women's tag match was far superior than the actual match. So go with that. It wasn't bad at all. I just don't think it was, a knock out of the park home run or anything like that. So I could see with a 7, but I'll go 6.5.
Yeah, I don't blame you with the 6.5. I think that's fair.
Right. Great show, TNA. What? No Frankenberry, bro. Wait, what? Well, no, we did have. Well, we had the Canadian Frankenberry. We had Captain Cruise out there. PCO taking on or challenging. It looked like Crazy Steve here. So
for the Digital Media Championship. Yeah.
I think we're very much setting up some stuff for Revolution's the next show coming up.
Rebellion.
I started with it. I was close. But I think that's the show. They're setting stuff up for that. But it's a little holding pattern, I feel.
Yeah, I think so. And we still have roughly 4.5, 5 weeks until Rebellion. So we still got some time. We still got a set of tapings in between there in Philadelphia. So I think tonight was the start, planting the seeds to Rebellion, and then over the next 2-3 weeks we'll finally kind of see that card come together.
And we did have angles already set up of like we're setting up clearly throughway between Spitfire of Danny Luna and Jody Threat versus MK Ultra versus the Cave for the women's tag belts. Yep. We had the Rich Swan heel turn. Stop looking at me, Swan. We had that heel turn. So we've got a lot of stories to really kind of flesh out here.
We do. I think it's going to be great to see how we flesh these out. And I think, if I can remember correctly, I think going into Rebellion, a lot of this was already planned out before Scott D'Amore left. So it's going to be interesting to see how we kind of roll into what happens after Rebellion.
Well, and how long, though, do we have that keep going to where it's like, well, Scott D'Amore just booked this before he left, and Scott D'Amore booked that of, well, it becomes like if it's good, it was Scott. If it's not, it's them. It's like that weird when Hunter started to really take over of, well, if it was bad, it was Vince. If it's good, it's Hunter.
Right. Yeah. I don't think we're gonna get that much out of the TNA faithfuls, but I do know that I think at Rebellion what Scott had planned is like, I think that's done. And I think after that we'll start to see more of the footprint of Anthony Ciccone and Anthem after Rebellion. So we'll see.
Fair enough. So little did they know Scott D'Amore booked himself to be every champion at the end of Rebellion. I have a contingency plan.
Exactly. I have all the championship gold.
Right, but any final thoughts, Sarah? Any final thoughts with the chat here as I think we're about to head out for the evening?
No final thoughts from me. I enjoyed the Tonight Show. Y'all be back tomorrow for SmackDown and Rampage, and then I think Collision and Wrestling Revolver, which I just found out today is Saturday on
time. It's not What a Show. I can't remember the exact name that they're doing it with it, but it's a little bit more like, Ripley's Believe It or Not here and everything.
Something like that.
Right. But I will remind everybody we will be back at a Jackrabbit tomorrow for Friday Night SmackDown and Rampage as well. And like Anthony said, we'll be here all the time covering anything and everything when it comes to pro wrestling. So be a friend, tell a friend, like, share, and subscribe. Our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is authentic. When you're talking about the wrestling, you put that for life with it.